And we welcome you back to the 2009 GEICO Plastic Ball Championship, the 23rd PBA Tour event here in the state of Colorado. First back in 1963 as we get set for semifinal number 1. Chris Barnes, Pete Weber, great crowd on hand here. And again, Randy, the focal point on the bowling ball this week and today. Tell us exactly what these guys are dealing with.
Well, all the talk is on the outside part of the ball, which is plastic, but let's not forget the inside part of the ball, or the core. That's the engine. This is the core of the balls that the players use this week. It's a pancake-shaped weight block. Look how tiny that is. Look at this massive core of the modern reactive resin balls that the players use on a weekly basis. Keep in mind, the core is the engine. So the combination of the core and the cover stock is what creates roll, hook, and power. So comparing these two bowling balls, Rob, in terms of strength, would be kind of like comparing a Yugo to a Ferrari.
Why do you have to disparage the Yugo? I mean, it's a fine automobile.
Okay.
Yes. There's a look at round of 8 and how it whittled itself down to our 4 finalists. And we begin with Barnes, Weber, and we will begin with that man, Chris Barnes, 11th year on the tour, 10 Lumber Liquidator PBA Tour titles, 2 of them majors. A win today, and he'll have 1 title for 8 straight seasons. Right of the pocket there.
And let me just add that manufacturers in the game today have performance bowling balls in their product line. So everybody's up to date with the core technologies and the cover technologies. Looking to avoid an open frame early on.
2-4-10.
And Rob, the nice part about this week was the players didn't have to switch to a spare ball.
Yeah. The spare ball is your strike ball. So Barnes takes a seat. Up steps Pete Weber, 46 years old, 29th year on the tour, 34 tour titles, tied for 3rd most in PBA history with Mark Roth.
Hey, phones.
Of those 34 titles, 8 of them majors, tied for 2nd most with Mike Albee. And he has been on a tear here in the second half of the season. Whoa, right through the nose.
All righty then. Just keep it even.
Pete's first 3 or 4 years out on tour, he used plastic and rubber primarily. He says, I remember walking into an event with plastic ball on one shoulder and a rubber ball on the other, and that was it.
Game on. So both open up with open frame 9s. Here's Pete Weber on what he would normally be using on this cheetah oil pattern.
Normally I'd use a higher line aggressive bowling ball for the cheetah pattern that we bowled on this week, to let the ball do the work instead of me doing the work. Like this week with the plastic ball, I had to do the work, and my hand is really hurting about that.
Struggles continue. We asked Pete
Alrighty then.
about bowling with these balls this week, and he said, you know, everything's slower. That was kind of the buzz phrase with all of our 4 finalists. Everything was so much slower. That, and he said, really digging my fingers deeper into the holes.
Rob, with the new high-performance bowling balls, they have built-in hook. The guys don't have to work as hard to create that motion. With the plastic balls, Chris Barnes said it, Pete Weber said it, these guys were just trying to get a handful with each and every shot. And ironically, all 4 players on the telecast today are all power players.
And there's our first strike, and here's Chris Barnes on how he normally would have attacked this oil pattern if it had not been
Normally, I would use
plastic.
one of the strongest balls we have, and I would use a lot less hand, a lot of speed, and use that big core to help even out the gutter and use that dry off the outside. This week I had to use a plastic ball with a 500 grit, a leverage drilling with a hole pass. So, and about as much hand as I've used in about 15 years.
Back-to-back jacks for Barnes after that open frame in the first.
Rob, I remember when I was a kid and I got my first Columbia Yellow Dot, my first plastic bowling ball, and I never put any surface on it. It was too pretty the way it was, and enough the way it was. It was like Christmas all over again when you got that bowling ball. And I know that the players this week, a lot of them really like that concept, that throwback, going back. And let's not forget who used to dominate the tour with a plastic Yellow Dot. How about a guy by the name of Mark Roth back in the late 70s?
First strike for Weber, so maybe he's figured this one out after starting with an open frame in the first and then a spare in the second.
And remember, we do have CATS data, the computer-aided tracking system provided by Kegel.
Stick them in there and throw it.
The data from the Tournament of Champions and Masters, the average ball speed was around 19 to 20 miles an hour. You talked about slower ball speed. Today already 17 to 18 miles an hour. All right.
Really slapped that one out of there, huh?
Yes, you did, PDW. Players are migrating in a little bit. Remember, the cheetah pattern, the outside part of the lane is typically dry. A lot of practice prior to the start of the telecast.
The harder hitting ones.
Players burned up that outside part. Now they're migrating towards the middle part of the lane just a bit more to try to find a little bit more oil.
Barnes looking for 3 in a row here in the fourth. And gets it. You know, often we talk about speed, rev rates, and usually it's very minimal difference from one bowler to the next, even though it has a major impact. But this week, it's visually right in front of you. You can tell everything is slower, just a little bit longer for those pins to get struck.
Yeah, not only the ball speed, but the motion of the bowling ball as it enters the pins. You can see just how subtle that change of direction is down the lane. That's the plastic versus reactive resin of today.
Looking for a 4-bagger.
Oh, Rob.
Some good hand bone signs out here this week.
Yeah, and this is a great shot by Chris Barnes. And you talk about plastic bowling balls. Think about this. The equipment that the players are using is normally what a beginning bowler would go to a pro shop and buy. They would buy that entry level or that plastic bowling ball. It's the least expensive ball you can buy, and it's a great ball for beginning bowlers to learn with. The only difference between that and what our guys are using heavier equipment.
Kicks out that 10.
Snapping shots during my approach. Yeah.
Looks like both guys are starting to figure this one out. That's 3 in a row for Weber.
Do not snap the cameras before I throw the ball, please.
So Pete then on folks for their phones and now their cameras. You and I better keep it down. I don't want to get barked at by PDW.
Hey, that's a hornet's nest over there. You don't want to rile that thing up.
I love it. I love it. Right back at you, PD-Dub. I got you, brother. I got you. How can you not like this man? Impossible. When we return, we'll tell you how Chris Barnes' kids helped him prep for this tournament. I got your ham bone right here, PDW. Best ever.